Making another film prop this week. Nerf gun mod. Let's go. Hey, how's it going? Anthony Fro here, Great Sci-Fi. Well, today is another Nerf gun mod. This is for the short film that I'm getting ready to shoot, that I'm producing right now, and I never get tired of these. And I can't keep up with them. Anytime I need one, I don't use them as Nerf guns. I always use them as props. So anytime I need one, I go to the store or go online, and it's always something new. So again, like I said, I'm working on a short film right now for the channel. So what I'll do is just start picking apart the script. I have videos on that. I'll probably do another one on that as we get ready to shoot, of just breaking down what I need. Now in the script I'll show you here, there's a woman who's the main officer, and she has one moment where she does this. That's why I picked this gun, right? Because in the script, I have to serve the script with the prop, right? It's not just like what I think is cool. It's like, well, what's going on in the script? And in the script, she goes, and I know I already said this, but I just like doing it, which is probably why I wrote it, right? And that tells the guy, like, hey man, I'm not screwing around here. So the first thing we're gonna do is sand this down, fill up all these marks that make it a Nerf gun, get rid of the safety hazards, you know the drill, and I'll determine whether or not I need to take it apart or not. But the main thing is the screw holes, the branding for this particular brand of toy. But I want to figure out how to maintain switches. That has to work. All right, so let's get into it. All right, let's turn this from a toy into a movie prop. First thing we got to do is get rid of all the text. So yeah, just sand off all the warnings and hazards, you know, so telling you not to eat this. I've sanded off so many of those, I have no idea what they say. So now I've been moving away from Bondo. I can't decide if it's laziness or this is easier or better. I think the Bondo's better, but again, you know, I'm making movie props that are going to be used for 2 days maybe. So I find the wood filler, I started using this with my 3D prints. It's just easier because it's not 2-part, it dries quicker, but Bondo's definitely better. All right, sneaking in a little 3D printing. Again, you don't have to do this step at all. This is, as I say, it's because it's a film prop. I need to customize it to fit the universe, the world of the character, right? So now I'm just cleaning up, and again, you know, I'm just using knives and sandpaper, and with the Bondo, it is a little more involved. So now I'm realizing this as I say it. So with the Bondo, it's a little more difficult to sand. It's not as fast, it's not as easy, right? But if this was a hero prop, and something that was going to be around for like months and months and months, then I would use the Bondo. But again, this is a short film, 2-day shoot, so this is fine. So now I'm sanding. And typically what I do when I'm filling in the holes is basically right there, you can't tell, but you know, it's a lighter touch on the final pass because you don't want to dig out what you just did. So now I'm using canned air to clean this up. Do I have an air compressor from Harbor Freight underneath the desk there in a box? Yes, I do. You know, I can sand props, 3D print, do all this stuff, but I can't take 20 minutes to set up an air conditioner. That's another story. So now I'm just getting rid of all these pieces that make it a Nerf gun. Is this one a Nerf gun? Yeah, this one's a Nerf gun. So this was like some kind of lever, and then there's like the bottom where you load up. That's not the Nerf darts. This one has like the balls. So here, just some parts from my extra part model kit bin. Just gotta cover up these holes. This is on the bottom of the gun, so I'm not getting too crazy about it. Just whatever the first thing I grabbed that fit, and it's that right there. I think it's the inside of a cockpit of an airplane, like inside out, the bottom part of it. And now, more sanding. we sand and we sand and we sand. So here I'm getting ready to put this 3D print on here. And this is just a trick that I use if you follow my channel. Heatsink is a really good sort of nondescript, go anywhere, do anything sort of piece. And then here I got my dental vacuum former. There's another episode where I sort of initiate this. And here I'm just heating up the plastic. And I just like using this because now I don't have to sand. The pieces are more lightweight. They glue better. I think though, I don't remember. I might go back to the name badge to the 3D print. But as far as these little branding buttons, you know, this is the universe where my characters live. And I think you'll see this a lot in my stuff, this little logo. I don't want to give it away yet. Maybe we can have fun with it. Maybe people can figure out what it is. But I just, all my stuff in the universe of my my pieces, my stories that I create, this is just more sanding, so I'll tell you this little creation story, is that it's like the Whaling Corp, right? So in Alien, so I have like my own like little corporation, maybe it's a world order, but it's always that logo, right? So I'm not going to give it away. It doesn't come up in the film. I just use it there to, it adds a depth, it adds a layer. So maybe at some point we'll figure out a way to make that fun for you guys to guess what it stands for. But anyway, sanding done? Probably not, but we're getting close. And there it is, that logo. So all it is, and I went back to the 3D print on this badge, is just, you know, these are things you won't even catch, but subconsciously, you know, you have this character, her name's Oni, and she's a level C, right? You might not ever see that badge. Some people might, but it's just kind of there, and it's just a nice little grounding thing that adds production value. And, you know, I'm building this prop anyway, so why not add it, right? So here, when I get towards the end, I use steel wool and then the emery cloth and Scotch Brite. This is just to make sure that I got the whole thing covered, because when you're painting plastic, it always wants to chip off. And then the canned air, which is mocking me because, like I said, there is a boxed air compressor sitting right under my desk. Anyway, so here's some isopropyl alcohol. This is the best stuff for cleaning up. It cleans things up very thoroughly, and then it evaporates by the time you finish shaking your can of spray paint. Good stuff. So now I'm going to do primer, filler primer, just because I have all those holes. There it is, hanging in the shop. I did paint it outside. Now I got the filler primer. Now more sanding, of course, and just looking at it thinking, oh, right. So I'm doing a 2-for-1 here, right? So if this was a big production and a lot of stunts, I would have to cast this whole gun and then make a rubber piece, right? So I have one scene in my script where the actor cracks the other actor in the head. They won't really do that. It'll be all done with camera angles, but it needs to be safe, right? You got to be responsible. So my thought was, okay, it's just this quick little moment. I don't have the budget to make a full rubber gun. So what I'm doing as sort of a compromise is I'm making an EVA foam gun stock, right? So this is the part of the gun that will go towards the other actor's head. Again, it's going to be camera angles. You know, the gun stock could probably be like 2 feet from the person's head. You know, have them turn to the camera, but you know, you gotta at least try, right? And it just kind of beefs it up, and anything to disguise like the literal transformation from a Nerf gun to a prop gun. I always enjoy just adding just something that just makes it not exactly the gun out of the box, right? So by removing that bottom piece and now beefing up this end part, it's a little thing, but you know, it all counts. And typically I would do this with barge cement, but I think I'm either in a hurry or out of barge cement. Barge cement is ideal, but when it's small like this, you can get away with super glue, not a problem. So now I'm just capping this off, same process, cut, glue, and then, you know, with the heat gun there, that just seals in the cells, and it also cleans up your ragged cuts. So I foam is such a great thing to work with. So there I have my little foam sandwich. You know, I could have gotten more detailed and maybe made the diamond pattern cover the whole thing, but for what this is fine. Test fit it. Slap my hand on there. That would still hurt, but maybe not as much. So now, because it's EVA foam, you have to seal it with the Plastidip, with the rubberized paint. So there it is. So now, more sanding. What? Yeah. So if you don't like polish it up with like a high grit sandpaper, it's fine, but that just helps. And then now I'm gonna put on my final gloss coat, right? And then there it is, all glossy, scary, white, a little foreshadowing. Don't get too used to it. Wait, what? What did he say? I gave a whole monologue in the beginning about how I wanted all white. Anyway, so now I want to add some silver parts. And I'm going to do this by the graphite process that you see me do a lot. So with the graphite process, it's basically you just need to put down a coat of gloss black. When I do this, I like to use like the Home Depot dollar gloss black because it's a base coat, but because it's so like thin, has like such a sort of watery viscosity. I don't even know if that's the right way to describe it. It dries super quick, and then I find for this application, that's a great thing. So now masking. I think I've talked about this before. It's like I over mask, and it's like I have this white gun, and I've been working on it for a couple days now. And if I don't spend the time to mask the whole entire gun, you can bet your booties that some overspray is going to get, especially with white, is going to get where you don't want it. So this is just, it's like sanding. It's like, you got to do it. So the gloss, the reason I put down the gloss is the clear gloss helps when you put down your color over a masked area to prevent it from bleeding under, right? So if I just went straight with the black, there is a chance that it could bleed. But when you put the clear first, it sort of seals those voids. And then now the magic trick, graphite powder, greatest thing I ever discovered. Thank you, Core Geek. I mean, look at that. So cool. But now I'm like, whoa, you know, I learned things the hard way. I'm like, okay, I have graphite all over my hands. I'm going to unmask a white gun. So I put down a new piece of clean paper, changed out my gloves, and gingerly demasking. And that, it came out really cool. Like, I'm really happy with the way that looked. Again, I have no business making white props. Spoiler alert, you'll see at the very end which way this ends up going. But that looks good, and I think if you're a more sort of detail-oriented artist than I am, I'm showing you how you can do this. So now we got this Plastidip rubberized piece to put on here so that nobody gets cracked in the head. And now I'm just toothing this up because I'm going to use hot glue. Just want to give it some grooves and crevices to dig in, to grip. And I did the same thing on the inside. And now, if I had thought to have some kind of clamp, I won't have to sit here and let it cure. So I found a bunch of this white foam at the dollar store, actually, and I have black pieces of it that I just love. So it has, one side is adhesive, and this stuff is just great. So here I have like all the grippy stuff on the gun. I have, you know, the pump action, and then the handles. And I love putting something grippy. Like typically what I'll do is I'll paint it with the Plastidip, but when I have this foam, this adhesive foam, it's just a really cool thing. It looks good. It reflects light differently. It's a visual cue for our brains that, you know, this is a grip. And it's nice for the actors. I talk about this a lot. It's like anything to make things feel real to the actors is worth it to me. Like the inside of armor that nobody sees, I always like to make it look real for the actors. Just, I don't know, I'm a believer in that. So now I'm going to dry brush it because, you know, we want to believe that underneath that white paint is, you know, titanium, space, miracle steel. So now doing that, then now I have the sort of doing the silverizing everything. I don't know why I'm having brain freeze right now. Rub and buff. I like to not edit out this stuff. So yeah, a little rub and buff, and then with the rub and buff, it always goes too far for me, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. And then the burnt umber, which is just kind of gives it that rust. And with the burnt umber, I never water it down, and I only put it where I want it because I've figured out a way to get like this sort of rust sheen. I don't know what else to call it. And then now, what's interesting now is it's all water-based, and then, you know, the nicotine spray, and then I got a new one. Or I did not. Sorry, I thought I was going to use the rotten stone. So there, and it's like it's too much, right? Because it's white. I'm usually doing like black, primer black props. But luckily, so more isopropyl alcohol, and then cleaning it up. What I always do when I'm cleaning up the weathering is I kind of like, in my mind, do a performance, right? It sounds strange, but it's true. Like right now, I'm thinking, I'm the person who owns this gun. I just got back from battle or from a trip. I got to clean my gun. And I try to clean it the best I can, but you can never totally clean it. And here's the beauty shots. And yeah, that looks good. I did off screen, I did a little bluing on the end of the barrel. Again, these things kind of, sometimes the train leaves the station and you just get into it. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't film that. But, you know, you get the idea. So there it is. Happy with that, but stay tuned. Something's going to change. Yeah! And now you're probably scratching your head. Wait a second. Why is that not white? Well, I was scratching my head too. So I always like to share all this stuff with you. So my original concept was like white costumes, white weapons. And then I started doing camera tests and didn't look so good. I wasn't happy with it. And again, I talk about this a lot on the channel where it's like low cost, high impact, right? So I do want to do all white eventually, but I need to have the budget for that, right? So within my budget, it's definitely got to be like the gritty sort of World War and stuff, right? So, but you're getting 2 for 1. And probably a lot of videos going to be like that coming out, where it starts off white, then becomes something else. So if you wanted to make a pristine white one, showed you how I did that. Now, the look that I gave this, you can find many places on my channel. I'll link to a few below. But really excited. So we filmed the other week. So, you know, post-production takes a couple months. If you're playing along in real time, it'll probably be a few months. If you're watching this in the future, you know, you can watch this. You could click over to the film. But I will show you a couple shots of this in the film. Pretty excited to share this film with you. Well, as always, I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, check out the merch shop. We got the hats, got the shirts. Buying that really helps the channel. And remember, I'm just here to help make sci-fi.